Welcome to Pro Athletes Unfiltered. In this series, we're going to be comparing and contrasting what it takes to be a professional athlete in each sport. Every episode, we will be following a top pro, spending a true day in the life, from their home to their training to challenges that they face to become one of the greats. They will put me through intense training regimens, and in the end, will challenge me to see if I have what it takes to make it in their sport. Get an insider's look into the vast differences in every sport, from fitness to financials to sacrifices and mental fortitude. My name is Kinsey, a professional stunt woman and extreme sports athlete, and I'll be your host. On this episode of Pro Athletes Unfiltered, we have national champion surfer Jacob Szekely, or Zeke. Zeke is a professional surfer who has competed in various big wave surfing competitions and is known for his fearless approach and ability to navigate heavy waves with skill and style. His colorful past includes jail time, in and out of rehab, and he happened to win a national title wearing a court-mandated ankle bracelet after not surfing for almost 2 years. Zeke has been crowned the king of wave pool surfing by Kelly Slater.
Crazy in the last few years since wave pools have come out.
Yeah, our buddy Zeke.
Yep.
Zeke's insane.
I mean, he's gotten better because of the wave pools.
Yeah,
and they're
he's
Oh
like
yeah, you can imagine an air and then go do it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what he was doing in the wave pool when he went to Waco.
By completing tricks that have never been completed and creating his own. I'm very excited. So welcome, Zeke.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of how you got started and anything else.
Yeah, I'm 28 years old, born and raised in San Diego, California. And I pretty much grew up in like kind of an action sports mecca, like around a bunch of other pro surfers, skateboarders, and just early on like played a lot of sports and kind of was a little bit of an adrenaline junkie from like an early age. Would like skateboard down this big hill to go surf every morning and like just loved like big waves, loved like going fast on a skateboard and like doing crazy shit. And kind of just like got really hooked on like the non-traditional sports more than like, obviously I played like soccer, lacrosse, basketball when I was little.
Yeah.
But like the non-traditional sports kind of gave me more of like a thrill.
Okay.
It was like a natural high for me at a young age. And like whenever there was trouble on like the home front with my family or like I don't know, stress with girls, like surfing and skateboarding were always like a meditation for me, like a way to get out of my own head and like, I don't know, kind of get at peace with myself. So I was pretty blessed to have like the ocean so close to me where I grew up and I don't know, just find like sports that I loved and it was pretty dope.
So how do you feel like surfing it differs from other sports? You said to me earlier before the interview that it's nature versus, and I think a lot of sports don't face that, where you're directly faced with nature every single day. It's gonna be a different wave, so kind of explain that to me.
Mother Nature is so unpredictable and like every wave is different, and unless you know how to like read the ocean or unless you spend your like whole life living in the ocean and like I don't know, just surfing's just like so much different than any other sport. It's scary and it's like a thrill, but I don't know, I love it. And like, to me, there's like no better feeling than like being inside of Mother Nature in like a barrel and getting like pushed out of the barrel and like coming through with like just this speed and power and flow and having this like thrill. It's like, the only way to compare it really is like, I don't know, like an analogy, I call it being like kissed by God. Like you're being like kissed by Mother Nature.
Wow.
And like, it's just like a really special feeling. So
wow. So when did you know when you were growing up that you were like, I want to be a pro surfer?
I feel like I knew from a pretty early age. I was like maybe 12 or 13 and had a couple professional surfers come into my town and like premiere a film project that they had been working on at like the surf shop that I used to hang out at.
Okay.
And they were just like, I don't know, these like badass, cool like pro surfers that kind of lived the rock star lifestyle. And the way they just talked about like surfing with like so much passion and like enthusiasm and like these were like good ass dudes that like gave all the time in the world to all the kids, like signed autographs, like took pictures with us and like I was like showing one of these guys like my photo that was like hung up in the surf shop and he's like, go bigger next time, bud. And I was like, damn, like he was being cool, but he was also like being kind of a dick and like pushing me and like inspiring me. That was like the moment where I was like, all right, I want to do this for a living. Like,
wow, that's so sick. And so I feel like with surfing, it's different. It's not a team sport, right?
Yeah.
Or is there team competitions?
There's a couple like specialty team events nowadays, but no, you're right. It's basically like an individual sport.
Wow, and so when you're training, is it like a competitive atmosphere? Are you guys bros? Are you guys hanging out? Or is it get pretty dramatic? Do you guys have beef when you're going to contests?
It's definitely competitive.
Okay.
It's gnarly. Like there's like territorial, like localism aspects to surfing that like come into fighting. And like, I feel like nowadays there's like not as many up and coming kids in surfing. It's gone a little more like cookie cutter and like straight edge in the surf world. And unfortunately, like it used to be so much more like punk rock and rated R, and I kind of miss that, like that style of the surfing and that like sense of the surf world that we used to have when I was like a teenager.
Yeah. We are seriously living the dream right now. Anybody who wants to be a professional surfer, I think you want to be exactly like Zeke. He is living in La Jolla, California, one of the most sought after surf communities. It is gorgeous. The view is insane. This house is so unique and unreal, and I cannot wait to take you guys along for what it's like to live like Zeke. He's got surfboards everywhere, and it's just, I want to live here. I'm actually going to stay, so.
One of those. They're pretty mental.
Wow, look. This kitchen is unreal. This is insane.
Yeah, it's 10 out of 10.
I feel like the vibe too is very surfer with, you know, you got the dark wood.
For sure. The island kitchen is like perfect for kind of like cooking around it and like big family dinners.
Do you host a lot or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm out of town so much, but I mean, we have our like family dinners for like Christmas and Thanksgiving here. So.
And look at this fireplace. This is amazing.
Yeah, the fireplace is fucking world renowned. We got a skate ramp and a basketball hoop where I got a lot of training in growing up skating. Actually built the ramp when I was younger and then redid it a couple years ago. Yeah, this place is insane because we got to kind of just do a lot of like outdoor activities when I was little, and the skating definitely helped my surfing get to the level that it's at right now. But yeah, and then I have like hundreds of more surfboards actually over here. See? These are kind of some of my older boards and like museum relics. One day I'll have a museum of like the specific surfboards that I landed the first tricks on or rode like 30 or 40 foot waves on, and just like pieces of wetsuits that were special to me, and different boards and wetsuits from friends that I can hang up in the museum someday too. So
That's
it'll be pretty dope. So face me, yeah.
And how wide am I?
Yeah, like that. And then bend your knees.
Okay.
Exactly, and you're just gonna like distribute your weight like, boom, that's perfect. Yeah, you got it, what? Just stay low, stay low. Oh, that was a good dismount. Hey, good shit. Killed that. I'm just gonna give you a little push. Yup. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Damn, she's a skater girl. Avril Lavigne,
I do
watch
feel
out.
kind of cool.
Lean back and then turn. Yeah, there you go.
Woo!
Yep. Yeah, there you go. And you just keep turning until you do like a 180. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Pretty much just do a 360.
God.
Hey, that was it though.
Woo!
Good shit.
Good coach.
Yeah, so she's pretty good at the skating. I think she's gonna be way better at the surfing though.
Yeah.
I got high expectations for the surfing because you can't get hurt in water, you know? Good.
Zero promises.
All right, well, we got lifeguards on duty.
Yeah.
We'll be all right.
At age 17, he was put on probation after being caught in possession of alcohol after a fight. The next summer, at 18, he got arrested for 2 separate crimes. He ended up doing 6 months in county jail and received 5 years probation. After getting out of jail, Zeke, who was a high school dropout, decided to get sober and pursue his professional surfing goals. Zeke did relapse in 2017 and spent 6 months in intensive inpatient treatment facility. But after, Zeke decided to change his life completely and stay sober. He has now been sober since and says this was the best decision he's ever made. You definitely have kind of a past.
For sure.
But so kind of tell us a little bit about what you got into as a kid and how that's kind of affected you in surfing in general.
It's a crazy story, really. I mean, I guess I'll start from the beginning because I didn't have a dad. My dad passed away when I was 6 years old. So growing up in this town, like I kind of looked up to the older surfers, and maybe they weren't like the healthiest male role models or mentors. But I feel like in the surf and in the action sports industry, like the men that I hung around with and the men that like guided me kind of have this like false depiction of masculinity, like drive the big trucks, like try and get all the girls, like talk like they're all badasses and like don't share their feelings or like, and I just did all these things that I thought was right for so long, and it got me in a lot of trouble. Like I was kind of an asshole punk kid, just like winning surf contests and like making a little bit of money at an early age and thought I was on top of the world, and got into a lot of trouble. Like partied pretty hard at like 16 and 17 and like drank and did some drugs and ended up getting into some dumb altercations, like stole liquor at 17 and got in like a dumb fight, intoxicated. And so I was put on probation at 17 years old.
Okay.
And then when I turned 18, got into another altercation, drunk and intoxicated, and ended up having to do some jail time.
Okay.
At 18 years old, I did 6 months in county jail.
Wow.
And got out and got ordered to go to a court-mandated rehab facility, and was there for like 6 months and was sober and doing good, and then came back into the kind of like rock star lifestyle of surfing, and like couldn't help myself but like party hard after a big surf contest, and got into another dumb like altercation with like my friends and was super drunk and doing dumb shit, and ended up having to go back to jail for a year, and because it was like my third offense and I had already been convicted of felonies, so the court system kind of wanted to like make an example out of me. But at the same time, like I fucked up. Like I feel like that time of like going to jail and like being let out of jail while I was waiting for my trial and being let to go to this rehab facility in Arizona, I had like an ankle bracelet on and was in this facility waiting trial to hear what my like charges would be, because in California they don't really take like violent offenses lightly.
Okay.
And there was like all this fear around like, oh, I could do 15 years in prison because I have previous offenses, and I guess I'm a little bit of like a big name in the community. And so a lot of people, like all that fear really like came down on me when I was in rehab, and it just kind of made me want to like turn over a new leaf. And like, so I got sober and have been sober ever since, and did a lot of really good like community service work, and helped my buddy who started a nonprofit organization called the Natural High Foundation.
Okay.
And so I graduated those 2 rehab facilities after 6 months, moved back to San Diego and lived in a sober living home.
Okay.
Went to college and was running this nonprofit organization, and went into my trial, and the judge ended up giving me a suspended sentence of 12 years in prison, looming over my head, with 5 years of high-power probation, and I'd only have to do 1 year of county jail, and he'd give me time credited for the time I did with my ankle bracelet.
Wow.
So given all the good I'd been doing with like school and community service work, and like just being sober and being like a good example to like kids in the community, and I ended up getting to go surf before my sentencing, and I got to compete in another National Scholastic Surfing Association event at 19, and I won a national title for my second time with a court-mandated ankle bracelet on my foot, on my leg.
Wow.
I had it wrapped in like this trash bag and this rubber boot.
And so that's when you won your national title?
Yeah.
I think it's hard in professional sports when you're an athlete and you get that validation, and it's that extreme high of like winning, you know? And it's like your entire life is based on that ego trip of winning. And then you have this like crazy, like toxic feeling about yourself, and that's all you crave. And so it's like, it's really inspiring that you can be now, because you were saying in the surf world, there's a lot of that bad influence. They look up to it, they want to be cool, they want to do this, and so it's cool that now you can be the influence, like, hey, I made those mistakes, you shouldn't do that, like you do not want to go to jail 100%. For a year, you know, it's the worst. So now with surfing, now you're back in action, right? That's amazing. How long have you been fully in surfing, fully sober and back?
I've been sober for 6 years, clean and sober from everything, and I've been back competing like ever since I finished, so 6 years, ever since I finished like my jail stuff and got my ankle bracelet off, and it was rad. Like pretty much right after I got my ankle bracelet off, I got to go compete in these like wave pool events and got to go showcase my abilities in some of these like artificial waves and this like new technology that just came on the scene in like 2018, 2019.
Okay.
It was amazing. I ended up landing a couple like crazy new tricks that had never been done before in the wave pools.
Yeah.
And I feel like those clips just went like so viral. We're like landing like the first Superman finger flip, like the first kick flip in surfing. And it was a trick that I honestly like envisioned in like a jail cell.
Yeah.
Like thinking about what tricks I could do in surfing and writing down my goals in a jail cell.
Okay.
And being able to like go into the wave pool and like perfect that trick and then actually land it a couple years later, like was just the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. Yeah, it kind of really did like jumpstart back my career, because I feel like I did get like a crazy big following, like I don't know, like 50,000 followers or something like overnight from landing that trick, and I'd never really seen that kind of like exposure come before. And then also just like so many brands and companies started like wanting to support me, and it was like a couple years before that nobody wanted to support me because I was like going to jail and like screwing up. And it's like fortunately like Rusty Surfboards is like a company that I've been sponsored by since I was like 12 years old, and now I get to be like an equity owner of the brand and like help make amazing decisions with like Rusty Surfboards and Rusty Clothing, and they're making dope shit. But like other than that, there wasn't many companies that were like helping support me through the time of like going to jail and getting into trouble.
Right, but this has been great. I mean, we've learned so much about surfing from you. I think it's exciting, and we're gonna get in the water and he's gonna teach me how to surf.
Yeah.
He's definitely gonna show me up, but we're gonna have a blast today. So thanks guys for listening. Okay, so we made it down to his local surf spot, and now I got my wetsuit on. We are ready to go. It is winter, but it's 70 degrees out right now. It is perfect weather, so I'm kind of nervous. Dive in. What do I gotta do so I don't kill myself out there?
All right, we're gonna start off with the basics.
Okay.
We're gonna get you on the board.
Okay.
On your stomach, and basically you're gonna be paddling into the wave like such, and we're gonna like do a 1, 2, 3 pop up. And I want you to pop up.
Okay.
And remember we did on the skateboard, like kind of a wide stance.
And where's my placement? Like you're kind of further back on the board. Like do I want my foot on that circle?
In between this circle and this hand hold, and then back foot lined up with the fins.
Okay.
Wide stance and low. Like, you know, you can pop the butt out if you want. Like, keep it sexy, but like low. You know, sexy and low.
No sexy right now. We just need to ride the wave.
All right, keep it low.
The sexy is lesson 2.
And then paddle, 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 paddle. 1, 2, 3, pop up. Perfect.
Low.
Remember, wider stance and stay low.
Okay.
Perfect. A wave coming. Get ready, pop up. Go. Boom, like a pro.
We're gonna shred the gnar. We're gonna do some donuts. Wait, what is it?
Just say you're gonna do some air 360s.
Air 360s, you know, shredding the gnar.
She might do a backflip, maybe a El Rolo, who knows?
Yeah, it's this new trick where you're on the board, you backflip, land back on the board, and finish the wave. It's what we call the Kinsey 3000.
She's got that shit.
My confidence level is always here, and I think that's what it takes to be successful.
Yeah, you got this. I got faith in you. Let's do it. Let's go rip.
Woo! All right, guys, I'm addicted to surfing, I think. It was like this first wave of that like adrenaline I got. I was like, wait, I gotta do this.
Hey, she was pretty good too. That's what happens when you're good at something, you love it, you know?
It was so much fun, and he taught me a cool trick where I switch my feet, and so I might have a new hobby.
She ended up doing a double switch stance on her last wave. I've never even seen a beginner do a switch stance in general, let alone a double switch stance on a single wave. That shit was lit.
So a switch stance, so I was like this, then I went like this, and then I went like this.
It was sick.
Yeah, but I think the truth of the matter is I had the best teacher. I have a lot of respect for surfers. It's crazy out there. It's like you have to read the waves. It's a whole nother language. Like he knew right away. He was like 7 waves out. That one looks pretty good. I'm like, all right. Thank you guys for watching. This is Zeke. Check him out on all platforms. This was so much fun. Thank you for taking us on a day with you. It was a blast.
Of course. Thanks for coming.
Gnarly.
Yeah, dude. Shit was lit.
What got you into boxing in the first place?
I used to fight in the streets when I was a kid.
Really? Like you could tell, like he just absolutely loves it. He's so excited about it.
So it's been a long time of me doing that trick.
Yeah.
From Jackass.
Yes.
Okay, pretty sick.
Very common to break the collarbone. That's probably the most common injury.
What happened?
If